Sarah Stampin' Retreat. Today we're going to create a box using this Beautifully Penned Designer Series paper, which is this. So you get 3 double-sided designs, so 6 designs in total, and you get 4 sheets of each, so you get 12 sheets in total. And you can currently, until the end of September, get those for free with a £45 purchase on the website. So I'll link to that below as well. So I've cut this piece down to 11 inches by 3 inches. Now I'm just going to add a bit of colour to that. So the way that I'm going to do that, so I've just got one of our spritzers here and I've filled it probably 2/3 of the way full with water. And I've got a Flirty Flamingo re-inker here. I'm just going to add a few drops to the bottle. I've added 5, so let's see how strong that colour is. You can always add more after if we want to. So I'm just going to screw the lid back on. I'm going to give it a good shake to mix it all in. And then I'm actually just going to bring in an old sheet, an old piece of grid paper because it's going to get a bit soaked. So you just want to give it a couple of little spritzes before you start applying it to your paper because it'll still have probably some water left in the kind of pipe that leads up to the nozzle. And then I'm just giving it a bit of a spritz over. And with this you can either leave that in there to use again or you can empty it out and use it with a different colour. So I'm going to set this aside and I'm going to place it under a book to dry so that it all flattens out nicely. And in the meantime I'm going to make the base for my box. So I've got an 8" by 11" piece of Flirty Flamingo cardstock and I'm going to score it at 2.5 inches and at 5.5 inches on the short side. Then I'm going to turn it round and I'm going to score it at 1.5 inches, at 4 inches, at 7 inches and at 9.5 inches. So I'm going to fold on all the score lines. And then I'm going to cut this. So I'm going to cut off this rectangle in each of the corners. And I'm going to cut down each of these side score lines. And then each of these end pieces I'm going to cut about 1 centimetre, 1/2 inch-ish away from the score line. So I'm doing that on all 4 corners. So I'm just cutting this piece off about 1 centimetre or 1/2 inch away from the score line. And then with each of these flaps I'm just going to cut a small triangle off of each corner. So then I'm going to pop some tear and tape just along next to the score line on each of these flaps. And then I'm going to fold these up and just attach them to the side that's next to it. So this side and this score line line up. So then I've got this box base with the lid that goes like this. So here's my piece of dry cardstock. You can see that's where I've sprayed it on that side. And I'm going to score that at 1.5 inches, at 4 inches, at 7 inches, and at 9.5 inches. And then I can fold that up. So this will wrap this way around the box, like this. So that will wrap round like that. So what I want to do is just round off these edges. I'm going to use the largest of the scallop dies from these layering circle dies so you get the plain edge dies and the scalloped edge dies in this 16 dies. And I'm going to do some partial die cutting. So what I'm going to do is I am going to just tape this onto here. And then I've got my plates for my die cutting machine, and I'm going to put this in, and then can you see I'm just lining up the top plate with this first line on here, so it's only going to cut up to that score mark, it's not going to cut the rest of the circle. So you can see now that where I've done that, it's just cut that curved end. So now I'm just going to use my triple corner punch, and I'm going to use this one here just to punch a hole in either end. So you pop all your goodies in there and close that over, and this will come up and over like this. Then I'm going to take some of this gorgeous ribbon. Everything that I'm using I'll link in the description below. And I'm going to tie that in a bow. And I'm just going to tidy up the ends. So there's our project completed. I really hope you've enjoyed seeing how to create this box. If you have, I'd appreciate you clicking like below, and you can also press subscribe if you'd like to see future videos. If you click on the bell button and select all, then YouTube will also send you notifications when I've got a new YouTube video available. All of the products that I've used today are listed in the description below, and there's also a postcode there, so if you pop the postcode into your basket before you check out, then I'll send you a free gift after the end of the month. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to see you again soon.